What's going on, YouTube? Just helping you out here. For this video, we're going to take a look at how to apply the dual lock to your FLL Mission Models, pretty much the same every year. So we're going to take a look. This is a slide model, and you'll notice underneath the model we have these X's on the table. So each one of these squares with an X in it is going to get a piece of dual lock, very much like you see over here. We've already applied this dual lock. So we're going to take a piece of dual lock and place it on every one of these squares. We do want to make sure that we get the dual lock exactly where it shows so that the model will stick down where it's supposed to, and that way when you actually program your missions you're not going to be bumping into something that you're not supposed to bump into, and random pieces of dual lock won't get stuck on your robot. So we're going to put these pieces of dual lock right down on the table just like this, and again making sure they're as close to in the squares as possible. Okay, that's the first part of it. Now, second part is how do we get the dual lock onto the mission model so that it sticks down. So we're going to show you a way that we found works out pretty well. If you'll notice, these squares are spaced just a little bit away from the edge in a couple locations, and in other areas they're right against the edge. Now what that corresponds to is you'll notice that on each one of these beams there's a radiused area, a little circle back here, and then a flat area. So this little gap on the table corresponds to the radiused area. So if we're going to put a piece of dual lock on this model to match up with this piece, we're going to set it just back from the edge, the amount of that radius, which you'll find is about the same amount as the gap on the table. And since the dual lock edges go to each edge of the marking on the table, that means that the dual lock goes to the edge of the beams. So we're going to do that for both sides of the beam as we see here. And we're going to put it just a little bit away from the edge, just where the rounded part starts. And then in the back, so the back section, we see we have the same thing, and the dual lock is supposed to align with the edges. So we're going to put one piece here. And again, I can't stress enough, you really need to make sure this dual lock goes where it's supposed to, so when you put down these models, they go into the correct location. We're going to stick another piece here, again aligning it with the edge and just a little bit away from the top, the amount of the radius. Okay, now we see that we have here one in the middle, and we'll notice that that's kind of right in the middle of this cross beam. So we're going to put one angled just like they show it, right in the middle of that cross beam. Okay, so it should be aligned up with these two. And then they have one more that's also at an angle, and you'll notice they have a little bit of a gap here, and that again corresponds to the gap in the front of this mission model. So if we take that and put it over here, they should align. Okay, and if we take this piece and put it back here, they align. Okay, so we should be pretty good to put this down. Now, we do have the dual lock in the correct place. We do want to make sure now that we stick the model down in exactly the right place. And when you press on it, you want to press right where the dual lock is, and you want to press as close as you can to the bottom so you get enough force on it. So we're going to press there, here, back here. And for this one, instead, we don't want to press here because we could break the mission model. We want to get as low as possible and press down. Press in the middle. When we're all done, we want to just make sure that the lines on the table just go around the outside of the mission model and it's not sticking out anywhere it doesn't belong. That we find is a fairly easy way to put them down, especially for the models that are in the middle of the table, because you can't really align dual lock on the tops of the dual lock that you put down on the table in the middle if you aren't a little bit taller and a little bit longer arms. So what we're going to do now is take a look at putting down a second mission model a different way that they oftentimes recommend in the FLL instructions. Okay, now let's look at the bocce hoop. Notice again we have these squares with the X's, and that's where we're going to put our door lock pieces down. So we're going to do just like we did on the last one. Make sure we put them right in the squares on the table. Just like that. And put one over here. Again, making sure they're right in the squares where they belong. It's very important. We don't want to get our fingers on the backs of the sticky part of the door lock, or it won't stick. Now, what I'm going to show you here is kind of the recommended way for FLL, and if this works better for you, then this should be what you do. We're going to actually stick this down by putting door lock pieces onto these upside down so that they're already in place, and then we're going to take the Mission model and put it down onto the door lock that's sticky side up. Okay, so to do that, again, we have to be very careful. We don't want to put our fingers on the back sticky part. So we're going to handle it by the edges, and we're going to stick that down, just kind of grabbing it in the corners and pushing down on the corners so it sticks. And you kind of see why I don't like to do it this way. It's kind of difficult. Just push down like that in the corners and it sticks down. Do that again. I'm going to turn this one over. I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to just stick in the edges like that. Okay, so now that's stuck down. It's upside down. I'm going to do the same thing on this other one. Okay, so I'm going to take this, put it upside down, and just stick it down by the corners. It's kind of hard sometimes to get in there. And one more. Okay, so now I have that stuck down with the door lock upside down, sticky side up. Now we're going to take the bocce model and we're going to place it right over those pieces, and we have to really align that pretty accurately with those edges. I'm just going to stick that one down lightly first. I'm going to come over to this one, do the same thing. I've got to get that nice and accurate right from the top here. You should be looking straight down at the model. When you get it in place and it looks correct, press good. Just do a nice hard press on that. Okay? Press it down good. Now, that should be down. The door lock that was upside down stuck to our Mission model pieces, and everything's in place. And this is actually not too bad to do on the Mission models that are on the outside area of the table that you can reach. The ones in the center, I kind of like to do the other way. It just makes it a little bit easier so you don't have to reach way over the table. Okay, so that's it. We're going to stick the rest of them down, and we'll see you at the FLL competitions.
So that's about it for this video. Feel free to check out all our other LEGO videos in the playlist in the top left corner. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or an idea for a future video, and lastly, please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about my channel so I can grow and help more of you guys out. I'm just helping you out. See you in the next video.